really wanted to do a book review video, and based on my book haul video, I told you guys that I wanted to read Clockwork Princess first. Well, I really meant to read it last, but I just couldn't wait. I didn't want to spoil the other books because the rest I fear would pale in comparison, but I just couldn't wait. So today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing Cassandra Clare's last book in the Infernal Devices, Clockwork Princess. The only characters that really seemed to drive me crazy were the consul Waylon, and Tatiana. Tatiana is the sister of the Lightwoods, Gideon and Gabriel, and you know, she's a shadow hunter too. Well, not technically, but she is born as Nephilim. And when they were in this first battle in the beginning, she's like fainting, and Tessa had to basically carry her or drag her along to the carriage while the rest of them had to stay behind and fight. And I was kind of worried because this whole scene with Tatiana happened at the very beginning of the book. So, well, not the very beginning, but very close to the beginning. And I thought, oh my goodness, if this girl stays in this book and she is one of the main characters, I worried that I would hate it and that the rest of the book would be equally as irritating. But thankfully, she's not really a dominant character at all. I've never been able to tolerate those damsel in distress type characters. I mean, especially because she's a shadow hunter, or she is born into a family of shadow hunters. Like, she's just fainting, and Tessa, while she could be there helping her friends in the battle, she had to babysit Tatiana. Enough about that though. What I really appreciated about the plot of the story is that there was no love triangle, and a lot of young adult books involve a love triangle, and even some of Cassandra Clare's books do involve a love triangle, but and this one's kind of more of a, I would say, a forbidden love, because Tessa is supposed to be married, or will be married to Jem, and so she and Will could never be, so it's kind of like a forbidden thing. He just has to carry that burden alone, and he doesn't act upon his feelings. He can't really talk to Tessa about that, and he doesn't really talk to her that much at all because he's worried that he might slip up and say something that would put Tessa in an awkward place. So I thought that was really noble of Will, and I really appreciate Cassandra Clare's writing style, the way she had sort of formed this connection between her characters. I mean, they all just love each other so much, and they're willing to give up everything. So we finally find out what Tessa really is, and all along they've been categorizing her as a warlock, but they weren't sure. I'm not going to give away what... I will say that I was shocked though. That was not what I was expecting. These poor shadow hunters just can't seem to catch a break. Charlotte is still fighting to keep the Institute, and you know, the automatons that Mortman is sending, known as the Infernal Devices, they will never stop coming, and they are just relentless, and he found a way to make it so that their shadow hunter weapons are ineffective. They just, when they stab one of these automatons, their weapon just crumbles at the blade, and so it's just completely useless. And the way Mortman is doing it is that he's using skin, like real skin, and it's just stretched over the metal body of the automaton, and then he's putting runes on them. So those runes are basically protecting them from the shadow hunters' weapons, and they're just everywhere. They just keep coming every time. It seems like every time the shadow hunters were going out on a mission, there they were, automatons everywhere. And so they have to find a way to defeat these things, and they're seriously outnumbered. Like I said, Charlotte is not getting any support, because that's another thing I really like about this book, is that the automatons keep coming, so then there's a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and just so much going on. But at the same time, it's not an overwhelming amount of things going on. Like, there are some books where you feel like you just can't keep up because so much is happening, but it's all happening sort of in chronological order, so you're just following along with these characters on their journey, and Will goes on a journey, which is really exciting, and you just kind of get to know the characters a lot. I really love how all the characters bonded and grew so close together. I mean, Will and Cecily are reunited, and you know, she's accepting of who he is, and they just have a really realistic brother-sister kind of relationship. They bicker, but they love each other. They're always they disagree on a lot of things, but on the important things they always agree, and they find sense in what the other is doing or saying. And you know, everyone just kind of comes together. I mean, in a time of desperation where they're all fighting for their lives and they don't even know if they're going to be around the next day, they just kind of have to learn to work together and tolerate one another. I mean, Will and Gabriel had always hated each other. As warriors, they have to be able to put their pettiness aside and work together to defeat their ultimate enemy, which is Mortman in this case. And so what happens with Jem is that he is getting really sick, and he is basically down to the last few days of his life. Jem had run out of yin fen, and Mortman bought out all the suppliers so that Jem wasn't able to get a hold of any more of it, and without the yin fen he would die, obviously. So basically he's trying to bargain with the shadow hunters. If you give me Tessa, I will give you the supply of yin fen for Jem to survive. And of course they weren't going to have that. They had to find another way around it. This book played with my emotions like I would not believe. I cannot believe it. I was at Starbucks reading this, and I just had tears streaming down my face, and I was trying to cover it up. I was wearing my sunglasses and all, but it was just so sad, and then it was so exciting, and then I was so ecstatic for the characters. I mean, Cassandra Clare, I've said it before in my other reviews for her books, but she is just such a phenomenal writer. She just has the ability to sort of make these twists and turns in the books that you just don't expect at all. And I'm pretty good at anticipating what's going to happen, and I hate that I can sort of predict what's going to happen, because then I'm disappointed in the end that I was right, because I don't like predictable books. And Cassandra Clare's books are never predictable. I mean, just when you think you've said goodbye to someone, that person is back, and then they're back swinging stronger than ever, and it's just, and I cannot believe it. You know, the whole thing with the Silent Brothers, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give it away, because this book has recently been released, and I know a lot of people haven't read it yet, but you need to go and pick up this book. It is so exciting. You will not regret it, I promise. All the ends are just tied up. And you know what? I thought it was really interesting that when someone just dies and you don't get a chance to say goodbye to them, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, and you feel like there's just so much you want to say to them, and now you'll never get the chance. But it seems like it's even more heartbreaking when you do get that chance for closure, and you'll see what I mean when you read this book. The characters had closure with a certain someone, but when they have that last conversation, they know that this is the last time they're ever going to talk to this person, the last time they're going to be able to feel that person's touch, you know, something as simple as grabbing their wrist or a tap on the shoulder. And I mean, you as a reader, sort of, you feel for the characters so much, and you feel like you were losing that character too. The book was just amazing from beginning to end. It was just, I mean, there was that one scene with Tatiana that just had me gritting my teeth and chewing my nails. I was just so angry, I wanted to slap her kind of thing, but the rest of the book was just amazing. I love all the characters. And just to let you know, if you have not purchased a copy of this book, I will suggest that you do not look at the inside cover. So it's the family tree of the Carstairs, Herondale, and Lightwood families. So it shows how the characters in the Mortal Instruments are related to which characters. And the reason why I say you don't want to look at it yet until the end is because it will spoil some things, like who ends up with whom. So don't look at it. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.